So here we go again. Another week, another trending controversy. MacG said this. Minnie Dlamini is offended. Social media is in flames. Everyone's posting hot takes. Influencers are squeezing content out of this outrage. And headlines are dancing around the drama like it's national newsworthy. So here's the tea. MacG, yeah, that guy with the podcast that practically invented chilling in South Africa, is trending again. Why? Because he said something spicy, as usual, and now half of the country is clutching their pearls. Quick backstory, MacG's real name is MacGyver Mukwebo. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And he's the mastermind behind the podcast and chill with MacG. Easily one of the most watched and most argued about podcasts in Mzansi. The man has had everyone from Julius Malema to Pearl Tusi on that couch, and he's built a royal fan base doing what many fear, saying exactly what he sees as it is. Now, this week's drama, he made comments about Minnie Dlamini. Yes, that Minnie Dlamini. The gorgeous TV personality, brand ambassador, certified national treasure. He cracked a joke about her love life, and the internet exploded. The streets of Twitter were on fire, headlines everywhere, and it's not just fans. Even the Deputy Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities got involved, calling it a form of online GBV. Yep, MacG got government-level smoke, baba. There's even talk of him going to court. That's basically the legal way of saying you disrespected someone publicly, and now we're bringing lawyers. Some folks in Parliament even wanted to summon him like he's Voldemort. But that idea got shut down. Probably because, I wonder why. Free speech still exists. Here's the real kicker. In the middle of all this drama, the hashtags, think pieces, angry TikToks, the political outrage, Minnie Dlamini herself, silent. Not even a hey guys or passive-aggressive Insta story. She's probably sipping champagne somewhere unbothered, while the entire country is turning MacG's mic into a courtroom exhibit, trying to silence him. So yeah, that's the chaos. Just another week in South African podcast land, where one episode can make you a legend or a villain, or both by lunchtime. But let me ask you this. Is this really what we should be losing our minds over, good people? I mean, with everything going on in this country, with load shedding being our unofficial 12th language, kids disappearing without a trace, hospitals looking like abandoned buildings, crime running rampant, and corruption basically being a career, we are going to act like a podcast insult is the end of the world. Let's break this down. Look, I'm not here to defend MacG. What he said, not tasteful, not necessary. If it was disrespectful to Minnie Dlamini, then that's valid. She's got every right to feel disrespected. MacG has every right to speak his mind, and the audience has every right to call him out if it crosses a line. But this whole thing, this level of hysteria, it's ridiculous. This isn't the first time someone has insulted a celebrity. This isn't the first time a woman in the public eye has had to deal with sexism or objectification. It sucks. It's wrong, yes, but it's not new. So why this specific moment has the country started foaming in the mouth? Because it's easy. That's why it's easy to target someone like him. We live in a society where the media, and I'm talking both mainstream and social media, feeds off outrage. Not real issues, not uncomfortable truths. Outrage. Because outrage sells. Controversy goes viral. It's easy to digest. It gives everyone a reason to feel morally superior for 5 good minutes. People are quick to grab their pitchforks, right? Every time there's an insult or a scandal, they're out for blood. Like we've got a nation of vigilantes all set to fight the fight for the next viral victim. But what are we really going for? Let's be real for a second. If we're going to come down hard on MacG for his comments, we have to ask, why this? Why him? In South Africa, there are countless cases of people online saying and doing far worse things, and they actually get away with it without so much as a slap on the wrist. So why are we suddenly so fixated on one individual? Take, for example, the online trolls who spend their days spreading hate and misinformation. South Africa isn't new to social media drama, right? Yet when people with real power make racist remarks, perpetuate harmful stereotypes, or straight up attack the dignity of others, where's the outrage then? How come we're not ready to cancel those who continually fuel division, mistrust, and hatred in society? Let's just pause for a second. Can we talk about how everyone is absolutely losing their minds about this MacG situation, except Minnie Dlamini? I mean, here we are, with the entire country flipping out, including some notable politicians. Shout out to the deputy minister who couldn't hold back, by the way. Yet there's one person who is chilling, sipping her tea, and clearly thinking, is this really all that deep? Come on, guys. And honestly, let's be real, I think Minnie Dlamini is living her best life right now, and she couldn't care less about what MacG said about her. We're the ones who look silly. You want to know what's even funnier? The fact that some of the loudest voices in the room are from politicians, influencers, and public figures who are clutching their pearls like they've just discovered the biggest scandal in South African history. You've got people practically having meltdowns online, spewing their outrage all over social media, but waiting for the next headline to drop about this outrageous moment. And then there's Minnie Dlamini, just sitting there like, well, that's a bit much, you know? I mean, how are you going to be fuming over a comment from MacG while the person being directly affected by it is out here acting like it's just a minor blip on the radar? The drama around this whole thing would make a soap opera-like scheme some jealous, but instead of running around with a camera in one hand and a tissue in the other, Minnie's just like, yeah, not today. I'm almost tempted to call her the real MVP here, because not only has she not been swept up in this chaos, but she's actually saving her energy for the things that actually matter. And then the rest of you, you're the ones yelling at clouds like she's out here living her best life, probably making deals, checking on her latest projects, and having a laugh at how we've all lost the plot while y'all are still out here fuming. Now let's talk about the deputy minister for a second who decided to step in, shall we? God bless this man. The deputy minister's reaction was basically a high-speed 360-degree backflip. And I was like, wait. And I'm sure he was like, wait, am I really mad about this podcast? Because the drama here had people scrambling to come up with official statements faster than they can write their next bill. And all of a sudden, every politician and social media personality in the country is suddenly an expert on decency, respect, and public responsibility. Yo, I'm sick, yo. Here's a thought. Instead of getting so worked up about what MacG said, why don't we just focus on things that actually matter? You know, like the real issues affecting the country. But no, the deputy minister had to come out and take a stance on MacG's comments like it was his official duty to defend everyone's honor. What the heck, man? I mean, where was this passion when it came to, I don't know, actual national issues that require some solid action and real accountability like illegal immigrants? But hey, let's make sure the podcast guy stays in line, right? Despite the fact that Jocelyn Smith is still missing. We've forgotten about all the shady stuff that gets outlooked in the political and entertainment scenes. Here we are, ignoring those. But the minute someone takes a jab at Minnie Dlamini, suddenly, we've all lost our minds. I could almost hear the sound of public figures tripping over themselves to jump on the outraged bandwagon as if they've never made a controversial joke at someone else's expense in their entire lives. And yet, there's Minnie Dlamini probably watching this entire circus unfold on her phone. Like, is this really happening right now? Because she's getting more famous, and not only is she unaffected, she's clearly giving zero energy to the situation. If I were Minnie Dlamini, I'd just make a TikTok video casually lip-syncing to a song that says I really don't care, just for the sheer fun of it at this point. But no, Minnie has more class than that. She is the embodiment of let's keep it moving, while the rest of us are stuck in a never-ending loop of drama. And guess what? She's still going to come out of this situation unscathed. There's something to be said about being above it all, right? Now, let's get into the fact that everyone from random influencers to big-time politicians are just sitting there, sweating bullets about how offensive this whole thing was. You'd think MacG had just announced a public apology for breaking into people's homes and stealing their food. The level of shock and outrage is completely out of proportion to what actually happened. There's people who don't even know what happened and are mad at him for some strange reason. People are acting like this is the greatest injustice since the dawn of time. Honestly, MacG didn't even deserve this amount of attention, but here we are. I guess we're all just bored and looking for a fight, huh? Meanwhile, Minnie Dlamini is probably too busy for this circus. And to be fair, I respect her for that. She's living in a world where her career and her brand are far bigger than some podcasters' comment. This is the kind of vibe that just screams level-headed in a world where everyone else is running around like chickens with their heads off trying to be Brock Lesnar when they hear something they don't like. The fact that she's not out here causing a scene or publicly calling for anyone to just be cancelled is a testament to the way she handles things. Seriously, I can't decide if I'm more impressed by her composure or laughing at the entire situation. Isn't it hilarious? We've got a bunch of people acting like they've just caught someone with their hand in the cookie jar, when in reality, MacG's comment was like a single grain of salt thrown into an ocean of much worse things happening in this country, let alone the world. And yet here we are, holding a public trial over a comment that in all honesty won't even matter in a few weeks. Meanwhile, Minnie Dlamini is over there just living her life, probably rolling her eyes at this entire spectacle, maybe enjoying a little bit more of the clout because she's more popular now. It's easy to get outraged over the loudest, most visible person. MacG, for better or for worse, is a public figure who's often loud and apologetic, and his comments, yes, they might have been offensive to some, but let's not act like he's the first or the worst to do this. Remember those trolls who used to hide behind anonymous accounts, just spewing bile and attacking people for the color of their skin, their background, or even the choice of their career? Yeah, what about those people? Are you attacking them? They are far more damaging to the very fabric of our society, and yet somehow slipped under the radar, still hiding behind their screens with no consequences, and then you're going to attack a random podcaster. Let's not forget the high-profile public figures, politicians, and celebrities who have made offensive comments in the past and have faced little to no accountability for their actions. These are the same people who are meant to guide us, represent us, and serve as role models. But when they screw up, the reaction is, well, minimal. Julius Malema sings about killing white people for that matter. Look what are we doing to him? Nothing! We're trying to numb certain things that we only care about, and that's the loud attention-grabbing moments, while the more systemic, more damaging forms of hate slide by unnoticed. It's sad. Look, I get it. It's easy to go after MacG because he's a podcaster, and there's always haters waiting for him to say something that they think is wrong and then try to cancel him for it. Believe me, I get hate every single day. But does this really deserve all the energy you're putting into it? Does this deserve the outrage, the petitions, the endless social media debates? Because here's the truth. People are ignoring what's really going on in South Africa. We've got politicians having trafficking rings, making bank, while the rest of us barely pay the bills. We've got basic services failing, education crumbling, and crime spiraling out of control. Yet here we are making MacG the villain of the year. What the heck? It's like we've become obsessed with the wrong fight. Sure, let's hold people accountable, but at what cost? At the cost of our future, at the cost of our progress. The irony is MacG is gonna move on, and so will Minnie. But the system will keep us distracted. And that's exactly the kind of thing we should be mad about. The system keeping you distracted. Listen up, because this is the hard truth you need to hear. One moment, MacG, you are the country's most loved podcaster, and then the next moment you're the devil. No, seriously, this isn't some vague metaphor about to unpredict the ability of life or the reality of life. Today you can be that voice that people turn to for laughs, for truth, for enlightenment, or just to get away from the chaos of their own lives. You're that person with the massive following, the cool content, and the glow up that has people watching your every single move. Everyone loves you. Your podcast is the most talked about thing. You are trending on Twitter, your subscribers are piling in, and life is sweet. Hell, you might even be the next big thing on TV. But here's the part no one wants to hear. You're just one slip up, one bad comment, one misunderstood joke away from becoming the villain in everyone else's story. And no matter how untouchable you think you are, there's always people who are trying to tear you down. Trust me, it's a brutal, unforgiving reality, and it's the price you pay when you put yourself out there in the public eye. From experience, I'm saying from experience, it's easy to sit there and think, nah, not me, I'm just doing my thing, I keep it real, I stay authentic. You think you're untouchable because you're not doing anything overtly controversial. You keep it clean, you mind your own business. But guess what? The internet is a place where perception is everything, and people love to twist the narrative. Let me paint a picture for you. One day, you're just doing your regular podcast, joking around, being yourself, and then out of nowhere, one comment you make is clipped, taken out of context, and suddenly you're being dragged through the mud. It's like your whole world gets flipped upside down in an instant. Just like that, you are no longer the golden child of the internet. You are the demon everyone loves to hate and hates to love. Now, you might be thinking, no, Summerman, that's just drama. You know, people love MacG. He was just joking. You're forgetting this one thing. The internet doesn't care about context. It doesn't care about your intentions or the depth of your character. All it sees is a headline, a viral moment, and the outrage that follows. People are just waiting for you to slip so that they can gradually capitalize on it. And let's be honest here, the cruel part is how fast people can turn on you, especially if you're someone like MacG. 1 second you're the hero and next you're the villain in their mouth. You'll be shocked at how fast that transition happens. The very same people who were praising your podcast and episodes, sharing your episodes, and even buying into your brand will turn on you faster than you can say cancel culture. Everyone is going to have an opinion. And guess what? They don't care that you've been putting in hours, days, or months of work. The moment you become controversial like me, all that effort is out the window. What's even worse is that the internet isn't just a bunch of faceless trolls. They are real people out there with real power, real influence, and they try to destroy everything you have worked for. Whether it's a rival, an online critic, or someone who just doesn't like the way you dress, you are always one click away from someone trying to actively tear you down. You can be as private as you like. You can think you're in control of your narrative, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. There are always eyes watching. There's always people who want to see you fail. No matter how much you keep your personal life under wraps, people will find ways to tear you down. And if you're a public figure like me, that is a reality you just have to accept. You don't believe me? Let's talk about some of the most beloved public figures who went from adored icons to public enemies just because they said or did one thing that didn't sit right with the masses. Look at the influencers you look up to, celebrities and public figures who thought they could coast through their careers without dealing with the consequences of public opinion. Even the most protected, the most adored people can't escape the wrath of public scrutiny. Take, for example, how quickly people turn on someone over something they've said in a podcast like MacG, on social media, or in an interview. It's so easy to lose everything you've built simply because people out there are looking for a reason to cancel you. Why, we don't know. They have their problems. But let's face it, that cancellation just doesn't stop at losing followers. Your brand, your career, your reputation, and if you're unlucky, your entire livelihood comes to an end. You become a mishap, a failed joke, and bam, you're out. You're the villain now. Even worse, people enjoy tearing you down. It gives them a sense of satisfaction, a sense of power. They sit in their little corners of the internet, keyboard warriors with nothing better to do than destroy someone else's hard work. When someone with a big platform fails, it's like a sick form of entertainment for the masses. They want to see you fail. And it's like nothing gets them more excited than when you slip up. But here's the thing that you really need to grasp. This isn't just some online thing. This is real life. The kind of scrutiny you face online, that same mentality, spills into your personal life. People's opinions formed from social media snippets and viral headlines start affecting how others perceive you in real life. Suddenly, you're not the person you were before. You're someone defined by that one moment, that one controversy. You're not a podcaster anymore. You're a walking headline and people can only see a bad version of you. It's sad. It really is. And let's not even get started on just how fast the media will pick up on it. Let me just adjust this. You think you're private, then think again. The minute you say something they can use against you, they'll run with it and you'll be plastered across every tabloid, every big news channel, framed in the worst possible light. That private light you thought you were keeping safe, gone, you're done, you're dead. You're in the public's hands now. And the public is cruel. So what's the takeaway from all of this? No matter how private you think you are, no matter how much you try to protect yourself from the outside world, the moment you put yourself out there, you're exposed. And I know this. One bad move, one wrong comment, and you're no longer the hero you once were. You're the villain of the hour. That's why I call myself the best damn villain ever. Because I say what I'm gonna say. I know it's the truth. You know it's the truth. And I don't give two ham sandwiches what anyone else thinks because they know it's the truth as well. You might be the world's most loved podcaster, and then next thing you're fighting to hold on to whatever you have left because of how much people have tried to take you down. And when you do fall, they are right there, ready to take you even more down with the cruelest of intentions. This is the price of fame, ladies and gentlemen, and you better get used to it.